I have critical news regarding the state of the AI market. This week, we saw OpenAI CEO Sam Altman declare a code red, diverting critical resources and delaying major product releases. For investors, this is more than just a headline. It signals a major inflection point in the profitability race.
Welcome to DeepResearchGlobal.com podcast.
As an industry analyst, I am tracking this very, very closely.
And my analysis today focuses on what this internal warning really means for OpenAI's valuation, its immense financial obligations, and the sudden shift in the competitive landscape.
A shift that seems to be driven almost entirely by Google, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. For a while now, ChatGPT has been the leader, the one setting the pace.
Right, attracting hundreds of millions of weekly users. It felt like they had an unbeatable moat.
It did, but imitation, it breeds competition. And we've seen other large language models like Anthropic's Claude, Perplexity. They've been making significant strides.
But none of them seem to trigger this kind of reaction. So what was the critical event?
The critical trigger for this code red was Google's latest model, Gemini 3. It recently surpassed ChatGPT in a number of industry benchmark tests.
Surpassed, not just caught up.
No, surpassed.
Yeah.
And this performance advantage, it immediately translated into market confidence. We saw a surge in Google's stock value right after these results came out.
Yeah, but I was particularly struck by the public commentary from Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff. That felt different.
Oh, it was. That's the kind of market reaction that forces a strategic pivot. He said, and I'm quoting him here because it's so powerful, "I've used ChatGPT every day for 3 years. Just spent 2 hours on Gemini 3. I'm not going back."
I'm not going back. That is a brutal assessment from a major industry player.
It is. He called the leap insane in reasoning, speed, images, and video.
Yeah.
He literally said, "It feels like the world just changed again."
Okay, so that's the kind of pressure that leads to a code red.
Exactly.
So my reading of the internal memo, it confirms that Altman is redirecting resources from other pursuits to focus, exclusively on improving ChatGPT.
Exclusively. He's called this a critical time. And the areas they're flagging for immediate improvement are all core functions: personalization, speed, reliability.
The basics, really, making the product just work better.
The basics, but at an unprecedented scale.
Yeah.
And they need to answer a wider variety of questions. They're even implementing a daily call for staff working on the chatbot.
A daily call for everyone.
For everyone on that team. It shows you the level of intense focus they're bringing to this.
So what's really telling for investors, for you, is the list of delayed plans, right? The things they're not doing now.
That's where the real story is. OpenAI is delaying previously outlined plans that were intended to boost revenue. Specifically, plans to include more advertising within ChatGPT.
Which is a huge immediate revenue stream they're just putting on ice.
Huge. And they're also delaying plans for specific chatbot versions tailored around shopping and health. These are the so-called AI agents.
Those were supposed to be the high-margin enterprise products.
Precisely. And on top of that, development of a personal assistant they were calling Pulse, that's also delayed.
So this really is a defensive move.
Yeah.
I believe this illustrates they're sacrificing that immediate revenue diversification for, product stability?
For competitive necessity. The head of ChatGPT, Nick Turley, he confirmed their focus is now on making the product more intuitive and personal.
And he mentioned online search as a major opportunity.
Yes. They're going back to basics to defend their core user base before they can even think about expanding into new revenue streams.
Okay, so this leads us to the most crucial part of this for our investors, the uphill financial battle for OpenAI.
This is the bottom line, yes. For our investors, this is the most crucial segment. While OpenAI has an impressive, a $500 billion valuation?
$500 billion, yeah. And substantial funding from Microsoft and global investment groups like SoftBank.
But it remains a loss-making company. That's the key fact you have to remember.
And I have to remind you, their key rivals like Google and Amazon have far, far superior cash flow to weather these kinds of competitive storms. This is almost a mirror image of Google's own code red moment when ChatGPT first emerged.
It is. And look at the revenue versus the commitments. They have expected annual revenues, yes, exceeding $20 billion, and Altman projects that could grow to hundreds of billions by 2030.
But the costs,
Yeah.
the associated costs are just astronomical.
They are. Which brings us to the trillion-dollar question. Literally.
Right. OpenAI has committed more than $1 trillion to data center costs and the operation of its AI systems.
Over the next 8 years.
$1 trillion.
It's an almost incomprehensible number. Altman explicitly stated that they view the risk of not having enough computing power as more significant than having too much.
So he's justifying this massive capital commitment by saying the bigger risk is falling behind.
Exactly. It's a bet the company move based on the idea that compute is the only resource that matters in the long run.
But this high valuation, coupled with the ongoing losses in these unprecedented financial commitments, it just amplifies investor concerns about an AI bubble, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. My assessment is that if the company cannot maintain its competitive edge and accelerate profitable growth and do it quickly, the whole thing looks very fragile.
So every incremental improvement by a rival, like this Gemini 3 model,
It directly pressures OpenAI's path to fulfilling these massive financial expectations. It makes that trillion-dollar bet look riskier and riskier.
So as a final thought, what should investors be watching?
I recommend that investors closely monitor the product roadmaps over the next 2 quarters. The success of this code red maneuver, it will determine if OpenAI can translate its early lead and its massive financial backing into long-term market dominance.
Especially against these vertically integrated giants like Google who own the entire stack.
That's the whole game right there. It's not just about the best model anymore. It's about who can afford to build and run the best model sustainably for the next decade.
Thank you for listening. Subscribe to deepresearchglobal.com for more latest business news briefs, company analysis, and investment insights.